Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us for today's session. And the topic is Life is Tough, and so are you. In fact, as I was reflecting on this title, I thought maybe I should have changed it. I should have said Life is Tough, but so are you. But anyways, semantics. Today we're going to talk about something that I believe the world is, so different than before the pandemic. And we wanted to set up a session where we give you some tools, mental tools to help you manage the world out there. The world is competitive, the world is unforgiving and stressful. So the question now is, how can we, manage or handle those difficult things that we're going to experience in our lives? So today's session is to use world-class athletes and even some CEOs, I might admit, in terms of how they utilize mental toughness qualities to help them deal with the challenges of the world. But we're going to play a little game first, because the game is an opportunity for you to actually, test your ability. Yeah. So this game is called the Concentration Grid 3.0. Let me just give you a little short history about the game. In the old days, when some of these Eastern European countries where they wanted to select Olympic athletes for the Olympics, they needed a little bit more of an objective test other than their skills and abilities to be able to assess whether these athletes were mentally tough enough or were they able to focus properly. And so they devised this concentration grid system to help them assess objectively, because this is a very objective game. And some of you may have even played this before. And if you did well, we hope that you will do well and be able to rise up. Now, let me just say that we're going to have 2 runs. The first one, you just give your best, but the actual one will be the final one, where we call it the official round. And the top 3 prize winners will be able to receive an autograph book from me called Mental Toughness Strategies of the World's Greatest Athletes. Okay, so let's see how well you do. And we're going to brief you first on the game rules so that you understand what it is. And then later, my colleague, Andrea, will run the game with you and she will stress you out. All right, so let's see. We'll have some fun. Now, before I talk any further, I just want to share this little slide. And it says, sport is a game of failure. Because every game, every competition you play, there will be an opportunity for you to fail. That's almost a 50-50 chance. So the chance of losing is actually very high. Sure, you might say, yeah, a person's highly ranked and all that. But we've seen unranked people in sports beat the champions or the expected champions. So the point is, anyone has a chance to fail. Everyone who competes will always have an opportunity to fail. And for those of us who attended the 10 a.m. session, if you missed that, you can watch the video again. There's a recording of that live session. But I talked a lot about the fact that we need to give kids, our young kids, opportunities to fail. And it is through sport that they learn to do that. But today we're going to have a little bit of a sport, but it's kind of like an e-sports kind of thing where you're going to compete not just against yourself, but against other people who will be live streamed and their names will be there. Now, again, you may not want to put your full name, that's fine. But if we don't know your name, then we may not be able to identify you. So we hope you will at least put at least a surname or first name or something that we can call you on later. All right. So the top 3 winners in the final game, not the trial game, because we have a trial, we're going to do a trial just to get you to kind of understand the system. For about 5 minutes, okay? Then after that, we'll have the actual game so that nobody can say, I don't know how to use the system. All right, okay. So any questions you can ask immediately after the game. But the point is this, you will learn how to fight back if you lose. And that's so important. So we'll give you the first trial. If you lose or you don't do as well, remember, it's okay, pick yourself up, try again. We're going to give you some tools also, some mental toughness tools to be able to overcome the situation and rise up, okay? So here's what it is. It's called Concentration Grid 3.0, where your focus is where it matters. And what you will see in this chart is a grid of numbers from 00 all the way to 99. Therefore, there are 100 numbers, 10 by 10. Okay? And you will have a timer that will count down against you, and Andrew will call out your name. Okay? So, yeah, the timer will count down against you, and therefore that's where the stress comes in, and that's how these other countries in the past use it to put stress, simulated stress, and get people to really stress out, and then test their ability in terms of their mental toughness. So we always, I repeat, we always start with 0. Okay, so you have to scan through the page and look for 0. And then after that, you click on the number respectively. So you notice that you click 0 first, and then 01, and then actually 02, 03, and all the way right up. So you just go in sequence, ascending order, one by one. But I know some people might do this. They might, try to be smart. But the system's smarter, I'm afraid. And what will happen if you click any number ahead of the number you're supposed to look for? In this case, you should be looking for, in this chart, 01, because you just finished 00. But you want to be smart, so you go to 66. Well, guess what? The system knows, because you jumped the line. Therefore, it will appear red. And when you move your mouse away from that box, it will disappear, as if nothing happened. Okay, so as you populate the room, in the chart, the green boxes will appear, as you can see at the bottom of the page, right? Okay, so once the time is up, right, the game will stop, and your score will be identified, your own score, all right, your score. Now, we also have got a leaderboard. So you can click on the view leaderboard and leave this particular room that you're in. It's going to be a browser-based one, browser-based. So please make sure you have a Chrome browser in a while, or IE. And then when you click out, you will go to this page where it will give you the leaderboard, where it will show you your score if you are wherever you are, where you might be, and hopefully you're number 1 or 2 or 3, then you have a chance to win later. And then after that, we'll get you to claim your prize. Okay? And then you must, I repeat, you must exit from the game. All right. So the first one, after that first game is done, please make sure you exit the game, so that there's opportunity for you to restart again the next round. We're going to give you a trial game right now. So everybody go to your Chrome, Firefox, or MS Edge and type in the browser link, and also the Facebook page comments section will also have this link. So click onto that link, go to the right page, and you will get this page right here. And you will have 2 things you need to put inside: the code and your name. So please make sure you put your name, because if you don't put your name, we can't identify you, and therefore you won't be able to win a prize. Okay, so do that. Now move on to the next one. What is the code? Well, the code is here. So enter the code on the left, and on the right, enter your name. Okay, carry on, and then I'll give you a moment to just do this. And then Andrea will take over once most of the people are in. We won't wait too long, so we'll give you another minute, and then after that, we'll start. Andrea, all yours. Carry on.
Thank you, Edgar. All right. Sharing my screen so we can see who's already in. All right, so I'll give you guys a couple of moments for you to log in the game.
This is a trial run, so still give your best, because that's where you will learn about the system and yourself and how you deal with the stress. Okay, be prepared that you're going to be stressed out, Have fun still.
All right, so I'll now be starting the game. So everyone get ready. The game will now start in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, let's see. So Sherwin, winner, and JC are leading at 2 points, but now Sherwin is currently the one who's leading at 5 points. JC and Sherwin now tied for first place at 5 points, 6 points now for Sherwin, 8 points now for Sherwin, still leading the game at 9 points, followed by JC at 5 points. Norfirus is now at second place, tied with Carol at 6 points, but Carol suddenly jumped at 8 points. Sherwin is still leading at 16 points, followed by Carol at 13 points, Winner at 8 points, Norfirus at 8 points as well, JC at 5 points, and Jasper at 1 point. Sherwin is still leading the game at 19 points. Sherwin now at the 20-point mark, still leading the game with 22 points. 23 points now for Sherwin, 24 points now for Sherwin, followed by Carol at 16 points, Norfirus at 14 points, Winner at 12 points, JC at 9 points, and Jasper at 1 point. Okay, so Sherwin is still leading at 28 points. Norfirus and Carol are tied at second place with 18 points. 19 points now for Norfirus and Carol. Carol is now at second place with 21 points. Sherwin is still leading the game at 32 points. 34 points now for Sherwin, followed by Carol at 23 points. 24 points now for Carol, still at second place, followed by Norfirus at third place with 22 points. Winner at 18 points. JC at 13 points, and Jasper at 1 point. Sherwin is still at first place with 38 points, followed by Carol at 26 points. All right, so Sherwin is almost at the 40-point mark. Okay, Sherwin has now reached the 40-point mark. He's now at 43 points, still at first place, followed by Carol at 30 points. Then we have Norfirus at 25 points, Winner at 19 points, JC at 16 points, and Jasper at 1 point. Sherwin is almost at the 50-point mark and is still leading the game. Currently has 49 points. Sherwin now has 51 points, followed by Carol at 37 points. Norfirus 26 points, Winner 21 points, JC 18 points. Sherwin is almost at 60 points. He is still leading the game now. Sherwin has 60 points, followed by Carol at 45 points. 46 points now for Carol, while Sherwin is now at 61 points. Norfirus currently has 29 points and is at third place. Winner has 28 points and JC has 21 points. Sherwin is still leading the game at 69 points. 70 points now for Sherwin, followed by Carol at 49 points. Norfirus at 35 points, Winner at 30 points, and JC at 22 points. Sherwin now has 82 points, and Sherwin is still currently leading the game. At second place, currently, we have Carol at 54 points. Third place, Norfirus at 36 points. 37 points now for Norfirus. All right, so with a minute to spare, Sherwin is almost at the 100. Okay, Sherwin has finished the game with 4 minutes and 5 seconds. Now let's see our remaining participants. With less than a minute to go, Carol is now at 63 points, followed by Fires at 41 points, Winner at 35 points, and JC at 29 points. JC now jumped at 30 points. All right, with 30 seconds to go, Carol is now at 71 points. 73 points now for Carol. Norfirus has 42 points, Winner 35 points, and JC 30 points. With less than 15 seconds to go, the game will end soon. All right, less than 5 seconds to go. 3, 2, 1. All right, our game has ended. Let's now view the final scores. All right, so Sherwin won the trial round. He achieved a perfect score of 100 under 4 minutes and 5 seconds, followed by Carol at 88 points, Norfirus at 44 points, Winner at 35 points, JC at 33 points, and Jasper at 1 point. Congratulations, everyone. And congratulations to Sherwin for winning the trial round of the concentration grid game. All right, Edgar, back to you.
Thanks, Andrea. I'm going to shift the screen now. Okay, we need to shift. Okay, good. All right, welcome back. So you guys had fun? Not easy, huh? So it's not easy when you got Andrea, breathing down your neck and, counting out the scores and, distracting you. Guess what? It's on purpose. Because in most stressful situations, we are, being distracted by what's going on around us, isn't it? So the key here is to be able to ignore, right? At the same time, stay calm because there's a time pressure. And also there are other people that are also catching up. So Andrea called out the names, right? So that kind of probably put you on edge. And therefore you need to stay calm, you need to stay focused and not be distracted by the scoring. And also the sound and the music. I hope some of you heard the music in the background. I'm not sure. And also, you might click on the wrong thing. And therefore, you see the red box coming up. Therefore, you have to deal with those mistakes and quickly move on. Or you may have experience where you're looking for the number, you can't find the number, right? Suddenly it's like, where's my number? And then you notice all the thoughts in your head, right? I cannot lose, or I must win. I want to win that prize. Remember, the prize is an autograph book called Mental Toughness Strategies of the World's Greatest Athletes. Okay, so if you're in Singapore, we'd be happy to send one to you. If you're in overseas, well, we pray that you will, find a way to work the postages. Okay, anyway, more back to this. So the important part about this is that this game revealed your own negative thoughts sometimes, reveal your inability to stay calm and focused and be able to cope with any mistakes. So that game is a really good simulation of what is likely to happen when you are undergoing stressful situations. So let me use this opportunity now to share with you 4 powerful tips, strategies used by world-class athletes and also successful CEOs. Because I know many of you are adults probably, and you are also in the working force, and therefore you might want to, see how is this relevant to me in my workplace. So this is relevant to sport for those of us who are into sport, and also relevant in the workplace. So interestingly, mental toughness cuts across different domains. It isn't just for sport. So therefore, with mental toughness, it will protect you against high stress. Note, it says it will protect you, but it won't be perfect, just like any vaccine. Vaccine will protect you from getting serious diseases or illness, but it can't prevent you from getting it. So the point is, mental toughness is the same. Because we're human beings, we are frail, and therefore we do, we'll still go through it and survive, but maybe better than someone with less mental toughness. And we have seen people with less mental toughness get into anxiety, depression, and even burnout. And therefore, mental toughness is a powerful resource to help you cope with the daily stresses, both at work, in school if you're studying, and in sport if you are in sport. So what are those qualities of successful and mentally tough people? There are 5 qualities. I know I mentioned 4 C's, but I'll explain why in a bit. So there are 5 qualities based on research. And number 1 is the ability to stay calm. Obviously, very important. Because when you start to panic, right, your brain shuts down and your decision-making errors start to happen. And that's where it affects your focus and your concentration, which is part of your decision-making process. And also, when you start making mistakes, you lose confidence. You start to lose faith in yourself and your abilities. And when things go wrong and you start to scold yourself or think negatively, that's what happens when things spiral down, because you cannot hold yourself or control yourself mentally. So we're going to teach you some tools to do that. But the second last point I want to mention is that overcomer is someone who's able to overcome the mistakes, the setbacks, the temporary disappointments, or even temporary failure, but they're able to bounce back quickly enough so that they don't allow that situation to impact upon them. So therefore, it is important to apply all the previous first 3 skills of composure, or being able to stay calm, concentration, ability to stay focused, and confidence, the ability to have that faith and belief in yourself, all together at the same place, because you need to apply all 3 together to make it really effective for you to be mentally tougher. That's more for your own stress response. But studies are also clearly showing that when we only rely upon ourselves, we are not maximizing the potential. Therefore, it is important to leverage off the social support we get from others who care about us, or others who work with us or compete alongside with us in sport, for example. However, due to time, we can only focus on the first 4. And partly also the fact that this game is you and you alone, right? So therefore, we want to focus on the first 4, but we acknowledge that there are 5 C's, 5 skills in mental toughness that are important. All right. So I drew this diagram to just kind of make it a little bit clearer. And that's why we say this, the 4th C, C4, is the integration of the other C's, right? There are different C's: composure, concentration, confidence, and then copability. So you notice that copability is the ability to overlap and combine composure, staying calm, relaxed, concentration, ability to stay focused and make the right decisions under stress, and also have the confidence to know that you can do it and improve whatever you've done previously. And last but not least, notice that cohesion, which is teamwork, and the people around you and social support provided for you can be there. But again, because this is an individual esports game, therefore a very simple one, of course, not as complex as PUBG or something, but the point is you can use these skills where you are right now. Okay, I'm going to teach you some of the principles that have been used by Olympic athletes and some of the things that we actually teach some of our national athletes. But let me give you some examples, because I don't want to just mention to you, the research and all that, but who uses these skills? So I want to show you who they are. First of all, we have Michael Phelps. I know he retired from sport, but he's the only one in human history to win 23 gold medals at the Olympics. And this excludes all the other world championship titles he had won previously. And he says, before the Olympic trials, I was doing a lot of relaxing exercises and visualization. So he says that he needs to learn to calm himself down, obviously, because he's under pressure to perform. How about in business? Well, very famous investor Warren Buffett says, if you cannot control your emotions, you cannot control your money. Makes sense. Because when you start to, when you look at the stock market, right, crashes normally happen a lot faster than, for the stock market to rise up. Now, of course, once in a while, it happens, but most of the time, the crashes come faster than the rising up. So what that means is that the emotions take the better of investors and traders, and they dump whatever shares or stocks or derivatives that they own desperately in cutting their losses. But again, sometimes investors don't, go up and down with the market. They learn to ride through and they hold out because they believe in their stock, which then is important as part of the strategy or investing strategy. In sport also, when we talk about concentration or focus, we have a world-class sprinter in the name of Usain Bolt, again, another retiree from sport. And he says that worrying gets you nowhere. If you turn up worrying about how you're going to perform, you've already lost. Now, I find this interesting because he's talking about his competition as a sprinter. But then, if you take away the picture and take away the name, you realize that phrase there can be applied to anything, can be applied to your studies, can be applied to your work, or any context, even sport, of course. So here's the beauty of mental toughness skills, that mental toughness skills are life skills, and that you can use them not just in sport, but for the rest of your life, especially when you need to perform under pressure and stress. How about a business person? Let's find another business person to give an example. Now, likely you are using his software. Most of us use his software, Microsoft, yes, or his notebooks. Well, not everybody likes Microsoft notebooks, but okay, never mind, that's another story. And he says, only through focus can you do world-class things, no matter how capable you are. Because if you're not focused, you cannot apply your skills and your competencies in whatever you're trying to do or achieve. And this one is applicable in this concentration grade 3.0 game, because you need to learn to focus on the right things, right? And confidence is a third skill, self-belief. Roger Federer, a world-class tennis player, he says, I dreamed, I believed, and really hoped that I could do it. And so I put in a lot of work and it paid off. So it tells you that world-class performers first believe in themselves. And then through that belief, they allow themselves to work on what's needed to improve their scores, to improve their performances, and produce results. How about a business person? Everybody knows this lady, Oprah Winfrey, right? She was what I call a rags to riches story. She was fired as a journalist, but now she owns her own TV network and magazines and things like that. And she's well known. And she says, interestingly, you don't become what you want, you become what you believe. So it's very interesting because most of us will only believe things when we see it, right? They say, believe it, see it to believe it. Yeah, but that's not what champions do. Champions first believe that they can succeed, and they think positive in their thoughts to encourage themselves to ride through that difficult challenge or challenges that they're faced with on a daily basis. That is what makes a difference. And when they looked at Olympic athletes and they studied Olympic athletes, they found that confidence was also one of the most important skills cited. And then copability or overcoming challenges and mistakes and setbacks is talked about by our own Singaporean swimmer, Joseph Schooling. Now, yeah, there's a lot of, he got a lot of flack for not really producing as much results as he should have at the Tokyo Games, but hey, that's sport for you. You don't win all the time, and I'm sure he didn't want to lose, nobody wants. But the point is, before that happened, in the London Games, which most people forgot, he actually failed. He got disqualified at the London Games. But it was that failure that got him that motivation to work harder, to bounce back. And that's why he won Singapore's first Olympic gold medal in 2016 in Rio, 4 years later. So he is still a champion, and champions will face occasional failures once in a while. As long as they try to compete, they are putting themselves at risk. And it's okay. That's the nature of sport. And we all take it in stride, and we will bounce back. But the point is that he, after the Olympics in London, he said this, sometimes you hit rock bottom, and he did. And I bet he feels it too now, a little bit maybe. But everyone does at some point in life, which is true too. The important thing is to get back up. And I believe he will. And he said that so several times now since the Olympic Games. How about a business person? Well, everybody knows him. You probably own his product. And he says, sometimes when you innovate, you make mistakes. And so do we in sport. It's best to admit them quickly. So don't fight that. So once things go wrong, don't try to deny it, because the more you deny it, the more you will not do anything to improve or change. acknowledge it, and then get on with changing yourself, improving yourself, finding new ways, and learning how to overcome the situation. I'll give you some tips on how to raise your scores in the concentration grid just now that you played. And I believe many of you played as well as you could, because I could see that your scores were quite moderate and quite good actually. Now, the fifth C is actually cohesion or team player attitude and skills. And I just want to highlight that just to show you that it is out there, it is being talked about and used by world champions, or at least world-class athletes. In this example, it is the Japanese team at the previous Olympics. This new Tokyo Olympics, I'm still processing some of these stories. So if you do attend subsequent and future sessions with me, I bet I'll tell you some more stories, okay? But meanwhile, I'll use a little bit older ones. And the point is that the Japanese team actually won their first, in fact, Asia won its first silverware at the Olympics in the 4x100. And I mean, when you look at the 4x100's history, it's always the Usain Bolt's team and the USA always competing side by side. Why? Because they dominate that sport. And Asians had never had a chance, let alone get into the finals. Even if they did, they will never win a medal. But that particular games, the Japanese worked so well together that they beat the US team at that game. And this is why I want to share that story, because the captain, Oscar Cambridge, said, I'm really proud, excuse me, I'm really proud to have been part of a team in Japan. So therefore, it highlights the fact that despite it being an individual sport, teamwork was important for him. And last but not least, Jack Ma, a very famous entrepreneur in China, who started Alibaba, he said, if we're a good team and we know what we want to do, one of us can defeat 10 of them. A little bit of confidence there, I know, but it talks about the fact that when your team works together as one, your team can rise up. Now, unfortunately, this game we're playing is more individual. Therefore, as you can see, the C5 cohesion skill there won't be applied as much, all right? That's why we're not talking too much about it, but I just wanted to show you what it is. So next segment is to teach you some tools to help you, excuse me, apply them in your next game that you will play against each other. Now you know how the rules go and how the game is played. Now the point is, how can you improve your scores and do better than when you first started? So the four skills are staying calm, composure, staying focused, concentration, being confident, confidence, and being an overcomer, right? In the game, as you click on the wrong place, or you feel a bit stressed out, your job is to just learn to refocus, stay calm at the same time while maintaining that self-belief. All right. So overcomer is the ability to integrate all the other previous three skills above. We'll leave team player for now because you're doing it individually. So I'm going to teach you some tips now. Excuse me. Most of the times when we are under pressure and stress, we have a tendency to hyperventilate. So what happens is that we tend to not breathe in a way that calms us down. So the technique to teach you now is the centering exercise, where, example, you could put one hand on your chest, another hand on the belly, and your job is to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. A bit of meditation, Zen breathing, different ways, but same approach, okay? And your job is to try to keep your chest comfortably still. And as you breathe in, allow the lungs to fill up and then push downward towards your belly, your tummy, so that when you breathe in, you can see in the cute diagram there, your tummy should rise, not your chest. Okay, and then when you breathe out, your tummy comes back in again while maintaining stability in your chest. The key is that when you keep your chest comfortably still, the lungs has to go somewhere else. Where does it go? It goes downward. It goes down towards your belly, and that's why your belly would rise when you breathe in, as you keep your chest comfortably still. And when you breathe out, your belly will naturally come back down again. So now, notice as you breathe, please go ahead, do that now. Count the number of seconds it takes for you to breathe in. And then when you breathe out naturally and comfortably, double that time it takes for you to breathe in. Now, again, some variation, sure. Meaning you don't have to have exactly double the number. Some people can drag a little bit more, others maybe a little less. For example, you take 4 seconds to breathe in, breathe out within 8 seconds or 7 seconds. That's fine. So I want you to practice this right now and repeat cycle a few times just to calm yourself down. Before we start the game, I'll remind you to do this one, okay? Why? So that it can calm you down. So do this right now. I'll give you a couple of seconds to breathe. We call it centering. Center yourself. Chest comfortably still. Tummy rising as you breathe in. And then breathe out. Allow your tummy to fall back down and kind of double the time it takes for you to breathe out compared to your in breath. And then continue to breathe not naturally and normally also in a way. It is normal breathing, by the way. Nothing special. Just that your out breath must be longer than your in breath. And why do we do that? In fact, a study was done and they looked at how people make decisions. And they found that deep breathing, the one that I just taught you, helped to reduce the symptom of stress. And when you reduce the stress, your brain can then focus better and make proper decisions. And here's a fact, when you panic, your brain cannot think. And so when you are calm, your brain can think. So this can then be applied to the concentration grid. This also can be applied to any performance situation that requires you to stay focused and be on task. Make sense to you? Okay, so do that now. And think about, as you breathe, right? Think about the breath right now and where you are. And I want you to imagine yourself, as I'm talking, yourself in that game just for a moment, and imagine yourself being calm and breathing the way you are now throughout the game. Spend a moment now to think about that. Being centered, being relaxed and calm. Okay, I'm going to move on. I'm going to give you some tips, right? So the second tip is on concentration. There was a study that was done on soccer players. They looked at elite soccer players. These are some of these world-class EPL players, and they found that successful elite players, soccer players, did a lot of scanning in real matches because they were doing those eye trackers. And they were watching out for, the players' ability to scan the environment, to look out what's going around them as they were playing. So they're always looking. And they found that because of that, they were able to pass more successfully. Because they can make proper decisions and they can anticipate the game as they were able to concentrate better. So applying the same concept into the concentration grid, here's what I noticed some players do. They get stuck and they get something wrong, their brain just freezes and their eyes are not scanning. So what you want to do in the game later when you get back in is to constantly scan and trust that your brain will pick out the numbers. I mean, all of us know our numbers well. So just scan through. Okay, just keep going round and round. Okay, and do that and find that as a way to help you look for the numbers that are appropriate. And give you a tip too. If you see a certain number that's a little bit ahead, you can kind of put your finger there to just remind you where roughly it is so that you can click on whatever number you need to click. And then that finger kind of helps you to go back down to where you need to go to. That's one quick way as a tip for you. All right. Okay, that's also a way of concentration because you are keeping both in view, but one static, the other one dynamically moving. But here's the point, you constantly got to scan and scan and scan. The third skill, which is confidence or self-belief, is simple, right? Notice what you were saying just now in your thoughts, in your head, while you were playing the trial game. Notice that there's a tendency sometimes if things don't go your way, you scold yourself, you think negatively. If you did, then this tip is for you. And that is that you want to focus on positive thoughts because what you're focusing on is what will cause your emotions and also subsequently your behaviors in the performance. So successful performers constantly focus on what they want, not what they don't want. Give you an example, right? You don't want to be nervous or you don't want to screw it up. Don't say those words, in fact. Tell yourself, stay calm, right? Or tell yourself, I can do this, instead of saying this is bad, I'm doing terrible. So focus on what you can do. Okay, don't focus on winning though. I'm not asking you to do that. I'm asking you to focus on the process. So you can tell yourself, focus on the process step by step, count the number. Maybe the next number is a 5, so go for 5. But as you go for 5, you say 5 in your head or something like that. Again, anything that helps you to believe that you can get the number, or you can believe that you're going to get through this, or just a simple encouragement, I can do this. Or you can say 5, I can do this. Or 5, I can, just keep it short. Whatever it is, encourage yourself. Remember, focus on what you want. So make sure your thoughts are positively phrased so that you can then use it to your advantage. Probability is really to overcome any challenges you face during the game. So whatever happens, deal with it. Stay calm at the same time. Acknowledge the situation. Don't fight it. And then move on from there. And then challenge yourself to push. Challenge yourself to get through that hurdle that you're currently faced with. And you will find that you will go through it because you gave yourself a chance. A lot of times people fail because they think negatively, they don't believe in themselves, and then they don't challenge themselves, they don't push themselves. So I challenge you to challenge yourself, okay? And then apply all at the same time, staying calm. So use a breathing technique, scan all around, and think about where you want to place your finger ahead, if you find any numbers ahead of that, and then click on the ones that's the right one. Maintain a positive thought. Focus on what you want, not what you don't want. Tell yourself positive things and encouragement, or encouraging thoughts and affirmations. I can do this or something. And then lastly, push yourself, challenge yourself. Believe that you can do this. All right. Those are the 4 C's you can use in this current game. And then know that you can also apply them later. We'll talk about that after the game. All right. So the next one now is the fact that the winner is not the one without mistakes. So here's something I want to encourage you. Notice that no winner, rarely, maybe 5-10% of the time in any tournament, right, they will get the perfect game. But rarely it does happen. So the point is the winner is not the one who makes no mistake. So if you make a mistake in the game, notice others may also make the same mistake, maybe just a different time. So don't worry about that. Just focus on what you need to do. Stay calm, stay focused, believe in yourself, and then work through that. Okay? And challenge yourself and push yourself. Keep pushing. The moment you hold back, the moment you hesitate, that's it. All right. So don't do that. Focus on what you want. All right. So ready to game? Okay. Make sure you click exit from the game, because otherwise, from the last one just now, yeah? And then now go to the URL, and it should also be shown inside your what do you call that? The chat room. Okay, do that now. And next we have the code again. Now this time I need to put a 2 to it, because whatever name you put just now, put a 2 to it, okay? Put a 2. Why? Because we will hope that you can see some improvement for yourself, right? So put a name, your name, and a 2 to it. All right, Andrew will take over in a couple of seconds. All right, remember, top 3 winners win the book prize. All the best to you. Have fun. Andrew, all yours.
Thank you, Edgar. I'll now be sharing my screen so we can see who's already in the game. All right, so our participants from the trial round has joined once again. And then we also have a newcomer, David, who joined us for this round. So to all of you have logged in, get ready, because I will be starting the game in a few seconds. All right, get ready. The game will start in a bit. 3, 2, 1, go. All right, let's read the leaderboard. Oh, by the way, the top 3 winners of this game will receive a signed book from Edgar. So good luck, everyone. Okay, let's now view the leaderboard. Okay, Sherwin is currently leading at 6 points, followed by Winner at 5 points. And our Fires at 5 points as well. JC2 at 5 points. Sherwin is still leading at 7 points. Then we have Carol at 4 points. All right, so Sherwin is still leading at 11 points. At second place, we have Winner at 9 points. JC as well as 9 points. Our Fires jumped at second place with 10 points. JC2 at 10 points. Our Fires is now at second place still with 13 points. Sherwin is still leading the game at 18 points. Sherwin currently has 21 points and is still currently leading the game, but their Fires is a very close second with 18 points, followed by Carol and Winner, both tied at 13 points. Carol now jumped at 14 points, 15 points now for Carol, 12 points for JC. All right, so we have someone who just joined us today, Julian. Welcome to the game. Jazz too, welcome. So Sherwin is still leading at 33 points, followed by Nerfires at 28 points, Carol at 22 points, Winner at 20 points, JC at 19 points. Then we have Julian at 2 points. All right. Sherwin is still leading at 44 points. At second place, we have Norfirus at 30 points, followed by Carol at 25 points, Winner at 23 points, JC at 22 points, and Julian at 5 points. All right, so Sherwin is still leading at 48 points, 50 points now for Sherwin, 52 points now for Sherwin, still leading the game. Then we have Norfires at second place at 35 points, followed by Winner at 27 points, Carol at 26 points, JC at 26 points, and Julian at 12 points. Sherwin is still at first place, still with 61 points. Second place, we have Nerfires at 43 points. And at third place, we have Winner at 33 points. Let's see if this ranking will change after the game ends. Sherwin currently has 65 points and is still currently leading the game. 66 points now for Sherwin. Nerfire is at 45 points. Winner at 37 points. Carol at 29 points. JC at 34 points. Julian at 21 points. All right. Sherwin is still leading at 82 points, followed by Nerfires at 54 points, Winner at 45 points, Carol at 36 points, JC at 34 points, and Julian at 21 points. Okay, Sherwin, it looks like Sherwin's almost going to finish the game. All right, Sherwin finished the game at 100 points, and it took him less time compared to the previous round. He finished at 3 minutes and 37 seconds. All right, so now for the other participants, we have their Faris at 58 points. Okay, so Winner is now at second place with 60 points, followed by Nerfires at 60 points as well. So they're now both tied, and Nerfires jump at second place with 62 points, followed by Winner at a close third with 60 points. Then we have Carol at 51 points, JC at 37 points, and Julian at 28 points. With less than a minute to go for most of our participants. All right, so let's see. Nerfirus is now at 73 points, 74 points now for Nerfirus, followed by Winner at 70 points, Carol at 59 points, JC at 39 points, and Julian at 29 points. with less than 15 seconds to go for most of our participants. So it appears that most of our participants are doing better this round compared to the previous round. All right, so most of our participants have finished the game. Let's now just wait for Julian to finish his game. So Julian currently has 36 points. And with 1 minute to go for Julian, 38 points now for Julian. With less than a minute to go. $39 points now for Julian. 40 points now for Julian. Julian now has 42 points with less than a minute to go, with less than 30 seconds to go. 44 points now for Julian.
Oh, Julian.
All right, 45 points for Julian with less than 20 seconds to go. Yay.
Go, go, go.
Go, go, go. All right, 10 seconds left for Julian. 48 points for Julian, 49 points with less than 5 seconds to go. All right, the game has ended. Let's now view the final scores. Okay, so for this round, Sherwin once again won with 100 points, and it took him 3 minutes and 30 seconds to finish the game, followed by Nerfirus at 95 points, Winner at 83 points, Carol at 66 points, Julian at 49 points, and JC at 46 points. All right, congratulations, everyone. Congratulations to our top 2 winners, Sherwin, for being the overall champion, to Nerfirus, and to Winner. All right, Edgar, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Andrea, and thank you all for playing the game. And I hope you guys had fun. But more importantly, notice the simulated stress that you experienced, and I hope that you applied some of the strategies of concentration and of course, more importantly, composure by being calm. I know the heart rate can go up when all the music in the background and Andrea calling out your name and telling you your score. And that's naturally what happens when we are thinking about those things in our heads. And last but not least, hopefully that you believed in yourself. And I think overall, we saw most people improve their first time. So what we notice is that when you play more, when you do something more, you tend to do better because the confidence level goes up, you know what to do. And also your experience helps you from the past, helps you in the present. And of course, if you're able to maintain that calmness, you should be able to continue on and do better. And of course, staying focused on the task at hand. So with that, I want to also close by saying that mental toughness cannot be done by a simple workshop like this or a single session. In our work with Olympic athletes, successful CEOs and business executives, what we found is that mental toughness is something that needs to be constantly worked on. I mean, if you look at example, Simone Biles at the Tokyo Games, she did quit, but she came back in when she was ready. So mental toughness can fluctuate based on what we're seeing in the real world and also through research. Yeah, pretty much stable over time, but there are certain situations when it gets the better of you for whatever reason. So the point here is mental toughness can be developed, but it needs to be practiced and it needs to be applied. You need to be conscious about it. Okay, so we hope that you will continually work on it. And to help you, just to summarize this, these are the 5 C's that we just talked about, and I just want to close by talking and reminding about them. It's first of all is the composure, the ability to stay calm and not panic. Secondly is to stay focused and concentrated. Have a plan. Know what you want to do, especially when things go wrong, so that you can then stay focused and not be distracted. Maintain confidence because that's key to your ability to sustain and persevere. Believe in yourself and your situation, despite the negativities. Probability requires you to apply the other first 3 skills together in one place. And then lastly, cohesion is about working with others and seeking support and help, and even giving others support too, because when you do that, you also help yourself. So these are what we call the 5 C's. If you want more information, please go to our website, facebook.com/ I know it's a long title, mental toughness research blog. Okay, mental toughness research blog. And we basically post a lot of our research articles curated just to support you in your life challenges. And then as a bonus, we want to give away free audio scripts that you can listen to. And some of these are actually currently used by our national athletes that we give. One of it is the relaxation exercises. Because we live in a stressful world, your body needs to kind of wind down. These exercises are very powerful in helping you stay calm and learn to increase mind-body awareness. Regular practice is the only way to do that. Secondly, there's also peak performance imagery where you can imagine yourself, achieving some level of success based on the things that you've done in the past. So we're not asking you to think of success in terms of something that is not realistic, but we want you to focus on things that you've done in the past. And studies show that when you focus on performance accomplishments or that things that you've done before, that really gives you that efficacy, we call it in psychology, or confidence, contextual situational confidence that will help you ride through those challenges. Okay. And with that, I want to thank you all for being a part of this, and please help us to rate us in terms of the feedback and the surveys, and you get a chance to win $50 from SAFRA. Okay. And we have another one at 12 o'clock. So we're going to end the session now. And we want to again thank you for being a part of this game and this session. See you guys at 12. We're going to focus on how do you sustain an active or sporting lifestyle routine in this challenging pandemic. Thank you all. See you soon. I'm going to stop.